Hello everyone, hope you all are good and hope that you have studied previous lecture properly. We are going to continue with chapter 6, that is subsidiary books, and we are going to continue with illustration 7 that we have left in between in previous lecture. Yes, as I said, illustration 7 is about preparing all the 4 books, which is purchase book, sales book, purchase return book and sales return book. Yes, all the subsidiary books in one sum itself. Yes, so obviously you know the meaning for all the 4 words. Firstly, purchase, that is when you purchase goods on credit and you write it down in purchase book. Cash purchase is recorded in cash book and purchase is always debited. This is the basic knowledge. Next is sales, which is always credited because goods goes out. Goods comes in case of purchase, goods goes out in case of sales. Yes, now talking about purchase return. Yes, the goods that you have purchased that you are going to return. So that becomes purchase return. Yes, and the goods that you have sold, if that customer will return those goods to you, that becomes sales return. Yes, purchase debit because goods comes in, debit what comes in. The same goods when returned, goods goes out and hence purchase return is always credited. Talking about sales, you are selling goods, goods goes out, credit what goes out. The same goods, if they are returned from or by the customer, it becomes sales return and debit because goods comes in the business because they have been returned by the customer. Yes? So this is all about purchase, sales, purchase return, sales return. This much should be clear in your mind. Yes? So then, talking about the subsidiary books, from this purchase book, sales book that you have learned. Simple sales book, simple purchase book as well as columnar. Yes, with the column of expenses we have not learned. Yes? Thereafter we have started with illustration 7 in which you are supposed to prepare all the 4 books. Yes? Now from this, purchase return and sales return we have not learned separately. Yes, that I said that I will explain along with the sum. So while doing such kind of sum, firstly you should be clear with the concept that what is purchase return, what is sales return. Then the sum is kind of that all the transactions are given to you together. About purchase, purchase return, sales, sales return. Yes? You should have that much common sense or your knowledge for the subject that you should be able to recognize at least that this is the transaction of purchase, this is the transaction of sales and that sort of thing. Yes? So once you will be able to recognize, you will be recording that particular transaction in the respective book. Yes? So in illustration 7, the very first thing that you are supposed to do is you are supposed to prepare 4 books. These 4. Yes? And of course you know the specimen. If we are talking about the specimen of simple purchase book, obviously we are dealing with the preparation of subsidiary books, that is simple purchase book and simple sales book, that sort of. We are not dealing with columnar books right now. Yes? So the specimen for purchase book is what? Date, name of the supplier from whom you have purchased, inward invoice number, LF number, ledger folio number, and lastly the column of amount. Similarly, if we are talking about sales book, date, name of the customer, outward invoice number, ledger folio number and amount. Yes, so this much is done. Now talking about the specimen of this two. The specimen is completely similar, but instead of inward invoice number and outward invoice number, you are supposed to write down debit note number and credit note number. Yes, debit note number for a purchase return book. Yes, if you fail to memorize or keep that thing in mind that debit note or credit note में हम confuse हो रहे हैं, then I can give you the base. Purchase is always debited. So in case of purchase return, it's always debit note. That is the logic you can accept. Then sales is always credited. So in case of sales return, credit note. Yes, purchase obviously debited. It is inward invoice number. Sales yes, rest of the format remains obviously same. Name of the supplier, name of the customer. Same in case of purchase return and sales return. Name of the supplier, I mean the person who is returning, to whom you are returning in case of purchase return, and sales return, the one who is returning. Yes, so the format is all same for all the 4 books. Yes, now talking about the remaining transactions. As I said, illustration 7 is the mixture of all the transactions about all these 4 books. Yes, and you are supposed to recognize which transaction will be recorded in which book. Yes, for that your knowledge about chapter journal should be very clear. Yeah. Next, if we are talking about the transactions which will not be recorded in any of the subsidiary books. For that, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to write down a note. Yes, after preparing all these subsidiary books, you will be writing down a note saying that this transaction cannot be recorded in so and so book or any of the subsidiary books, or you can mention that this transaction will be recorded in this particular book, that is in cash book, in journal proper, and hence it cannot be included in any of these books. Yes, so that's all, and now we can continue with illustration 7 that we left in between in previous lecture. Yes, so let me just find out where did we which was the last transaction we did, and I can recall that it was on 18th of January if I am not wrong. Yes, on 18th of January goods have been purchased from Nirmi. That was the last transaction we did in the previous lecture, of course. And now we are going to start with the transaction on 19th of January. Okay, and which says the entire goods purchased from Nirmi sold to Haley for rupees 36,000 at 10% trade discount. Invoice number 100. Credit period of 3 months. Here one thing is clear, that this transaction is credit transaction, credit sale of goods. Goods have been sold to Haley, the one that were purchased from Nirmi. So in purchase book we have already recorded a transaction. If you will see, you are having a solution, so that's not an issue. In purchase book you can see on 18th of January you have written Nirmi account 30,000. Now those goods, the one which have been purchased from Nirmi, are sold to Haley for rupees 36,000 at 10% trade discount. Yes, so the very first thing that is clear is that this transaction will be recorded in sales book. Yes, not in any other book. So in sales book you can see on 19th of January it is written Haley account outward invoice number 100 and the amount is 32,400. How? 36,000, 10%, 3,600. So 36,000 minus 3,600 gives you 32,400. Alright, and which is the net price of goods. In subsidiary books, you are always supposed to record the net price of goods. In case of purchase as well as in case of sales. Yes, so that's all. And the next thing, next transaction on 20th of January, Haley returned half of the goods sold to her and same were returned to Nirmi. Now understand the logic here. Of course, the transactions of this kind we have done in chapter 4 journal in illustrations, of course, and if I am not wrong, it was illustration 11 and 12. The related sort of transactions, if you remember, that goods have been purchased from one party, they are sold to other party, and if the other party will return to us, the same goods will be returned by us to the party from whom we have purchased. Yes. So firstly, goods have been purchased from Nirmi, have been sold to Haley. Yes, Haley has returned. So this becomes sales return. Haley is the person to whom I have sold. Haley will return, that will become sales return. And I have purchased those goods from Nirmi. So I will return to Nirmi, the person from whom I have purchased. See, Haley is a person who has purchased from me. Yes, to whom I have sold. So if she will return, that becomes sales return. If I will return, that becomes purchase return. Yes. Similarly, this is purchase return for Haley and sales return for me. Here it is purchase return for me and sales return for Nirmi. Yes. So this way the transaction will have two effects. Will have effect in two books, in purchase return book as well as sales return book. The first effect will be writing in sales return book because Haley has returned goods to us. So if you can see in sales returns book on 20th of January, it is Haley account and which says 16,200, that is exactly half of 32,400. In the given transaction, it is written that Haley has returned half of the goods. So the half of 32,400 is 16,200. Yes. So that's all. And now talking about the goods that we have returned to Nirmi will be recorded in purchase return book. Yes. So the question actually is that Haley has returned half of the goods that she has purchased. So how much amount of goods I am going to return to Nirmi? Of course, the half of what I have purchased. Yes. If Haley has returned goods worth rupees 16,200, that does not mean that I will also return goods of rupees 16,200. No. Yes. If Haley has returned half of the goods, I will return half of the goods. Yes. She has purchased goods worth rupees 32,400. I have purchased goods worth rupees 30,000, the same goods, the one that I have sold to Haley. Yes. So Nirmi, that will be recorded in purchase return book. You can see the effect in purchase return book of Shri Hasmukh Bhai. You can see the effect on 20th of January. You see Nirmi account there 15,000. Yes, 15,000 is the half of 30,000. Let us understand that amount. $30,000 is the amount that you have written in purchase book, the goods that you have purchased from Nirmi. Yes. Yes, please understand. The transactions are all linked. See, you have purchased from Nirmi. goods of rupees 30,000. Same goods you have sold to Haley at rupees 36,000 with a 10% trade discount. $32,400. Haley has returned half of the goods, half of this, 16,200. So I will return the half of this because I have purchased goods worth rupees 30,000, the one that I sold to Haley. Haley returns half of the goods that she has purchased. So of course I will return the half of what I have purchased. Yes? If she will return 16,200, that does not mean even I will return the goods worth rupees 16,200. No. The purchase price for both the parties is different. So the half of this is this and the half of 30,000 is 15,000. So I will be returning goods of rupees 15,000 to Nirmi. Yes, and the next transaction on 21st of January, it says Kanu placed an order for supplying goods of rupees 12,000 at 10% trade discount. So this is non-financial transaction. Non-financial transaction will not be recorded in any of the subsidiary books. Yes, and you will be writing down a note for this, that non-financial transaction will not be recorded. Yes. The note is given on page number 145. Next one, on 24th of January, supplied goods to Kanu for his order, rupees 300 added for labor, invoice 102. Now, the order which was received on 21st of January, that is actually initiated on 24th of January, and the goods have been supplied to Kanu. That means goods have been sold to Kanu. So this transaction will be recorded in sales book. Yes? Because goods have been sold to Kanu. So in sales book you can see 31st of January it is written Kanu account 5,400. The order has been placed of rupees, Kanu has placed an order of rupees 12,000 at 10% trade discount on 21st of January, please consider this, and 10% trade discount. Yes, so the 10% for 12,000 is 1,200 and the net amount of goods is 10,800. If you will see in sales book, page number 145, as I said, this transaction will be recorded in sales book. So on 24th of January actually, goods of rupees 10,800. 12,000 minus 1,200, 10,800. Alright? With 10% trade discount, of course. And the labor, you know very well, we cannot record here. A note for that is written for 24th of January, that 300 will be recorded in cash book because labor charges are paid in cash. Yes, you cannot ask a laborer that you come after a week or something like that, of course, yeah. So that amount is to be paid in cash and that is recorded in cash book. Next, 25th of January, cash purchase rupees 20,000 and cash sales rupees 25,000. This is entirely a cash transaction and hence it cannot be recorded in subsidiary books. Yes, it will be recorded in cash book. Cash book is also a subsidiary book. It cannot be recorded in subsidiary books of goods. Yes. So the next thing, yes, of course you will be writing down a note for this on 25th of January. Cash purchase and cash sales transactions will be recorded in cash book. Then the last transaction of illustration 7, 31st of January, Kannu returned half of the goods sold to him, and it was agreed to give rebate of carriage in proportion. Kannu has returned half of the goods. Yes, Kannu has purchased goods worth rupees 10,800. In sales book, if you can see, you have sold goods of rupees 10,800 to Kannu. Now he is returning half of the goods from the same. Kannu is my customer, a debtor, to whom the goods have been sold on credit. If those goods are returned, it is considered as sales return. So in sales return book, you are supposed to write down Kannu account on 31st of January, if you can see, 5,400, the half amount of 10,800. You can split it as 10,000 ka half, 5,800 ka half, 400. So this way it is 5,400. Yes, and they have said that the carriage will be returned in a proportion. For that we have a note on page number 146. I am reading the same. Kannu returned goods out of transaction of date 24th of January. Therefore, goods amount rupees 10,800, the half 5,400 is recorded as sales return. This we have understood. And carriage पूरे goods का था 300, and now the carriage is returned, the proportionate carriage. आधे goods return हुए हैं तो obviously half of the carriage is to be rebated. So half of 300 is 150, and that will be recorded in journal proper. Yes, wages account is debited and Kannu account is credited. Actually, this journal entry will be recorded in journal proper, so we are not supposed to think about the journal entry right now. The only thing that you are supposed to do is that you will record the half of the goods that have been returned by Kannu, and you will write down a note for the proportionate amount of carriage that it will be recorded in journal proper. Yes. So with this we complete illustration 7, which was about preparing all the subsidiary books of goods, all the 4: purchase, sales, purchase return, sales return, everything. Yes. So I think now we should find out a sum of similar kind, and we should solve the same. So in your exercise, firstly, your exercise, the long sums start from page number 151. Let us revise which sums we have done. On page number 151, the very first sum that we have done is sum number 4, which is about preparing a purchase book, the simple purchase book. The next one, question 5, is about preparing columnar purchase book. And next, sum number 6 we have not done, and then we have directly started with sum number 7 actually. Yes, which is about preparing the simple sales book. Yes, and then we have done sum number 8, which is about preparing columnar sales book according to the types of goods. Even purchase book we have done according to the types of goods. Sales book we have done according to the types of goods. According to the expenses we have not done. So then we have sum number 9 with the columns of expenses that we are not doing. Yes, sum number 10 we can do. Sum number 10 on page number 154 in your exercise, that we can do. It is about preparing purchase book and purchase return book. The sum is quite easy, or we can say exactly half of the illustration that we have done. Illustration 7 that we did was about preparing all the 4 books, and this is only about preparing purchase book and purchase return book. And of course, the next one is sales and sales returns book. So then you are having a sum that you are supposed to prepare all the 4 books. Yes, probably these are the last sums that we are going to undertake for this chapter. No sums ahead, no illustrations, nothing new. Yes, so sum number 10, 11 and sum number 12. That's all for this chapter, everything that we have done till now. And thereafter we are going to start with yes, a new chapter, that is cash book and its types. Yes, so fine, let us begin with the sum from exercise. You should be preparing the formats quickly. I will just mention that which transaction will be recorded in purchase book and which in purchase return book. Okay. So quickly on page number 154, sum number 10 from exercise we are going to start. Okay. From the following, prepare purchase book and purchase returns book in the books of account of Gujarat traders. Okay. So purchase book and purchase return book. Yes, these 2 books you are supposed to prepare. So yes, half page each. So that means in 1 page, half for purchase book, another half for purchase return book. Yes, I will just mention that this transaction will be recorded in this book and this in this book. I hope you know the pattern of writing or recording the transactions by now. Yes, so that's the reason I am not preparing a separate format for these 2. Yeah, that you are supposed to do. Okay, and of course after preparing these 2 books, you will be writing the notes for the transactions which you are not recording. Yes. So yes, on 1st of January 2018, goods purchased of rupees 1 lakh at 5% trade discount from Punjab stores. So goods have been purchased of rupees 1 lakh at 5% trade discount from Punjab stores. Of course, this transaction will be recorded in purchase book, Punjab stores account. Date you will write, this is just the name of supplier. Bill number if mentioned you will write. The amount is 1 lakh and 5% of 1 lakh is 5,000. So 1 lakh minus 5,000, 95,000 is the amount. I repeat, I am writing it roughly. You are supposed to write it in a proper format. You obviously know the specimen of purchase book. I am just giving you an idea that this is how you are supposed to record. Yes, I am just explaining you the sum. Actually the sum is to be done by you. Yeah. So the date, the way we are writing, this is just the name of supplier and this is the amount. Next one, on 3rd of January, goods purchased of rupees 60,000 on credit of 1 month from Maharashtra stores. Trade discount 10%, bill number 330. Goods of rupees 60,000 have been purchased from Maharashtra stores. Name of the supplier? Maharashtra Stores. Yes, goods of rupees 60,000 at 10% trade discount. So 60,000 minus 6,000, simply. Next, goods purchased of rupees 50,000 from Kerala stores on credit and 50% is paid immediately. Goods have been purchased from Kerala stores, yes, of rupees 50,000 and 50% amount is paid immediately. This is half credit, half cash, yes. So obviously the entire transaction will be treated as credit transaction. So 50,000 will be recorded in purchase book again. The name of the party, Kerala Stores. Of course, you will be writing down a note for this, that half of the amount paid immediately will be recorded in cash book. Next, on 17th of January, 1/3 goods is returned to Maharashtra Stores along with debit note number 43 for appropriate amount is sent. Okay, goods of rupees 54,000 have been purchased from Maharashtra Stores at first, and 1/3 of this is returned. So this is purchase return, and in purchase return book you will be writing Maharashtra Stores account. Let us see what is 1/3 of 54,000. So 54,000 into 1 by 3, that gives you 18,000 rupees. So goods worth rupees 18,000 have been returned to Maharashtra Stores. Alright. Next, on 21st of January, goods purchased of rupees 40,000 at 10% trade discount from Rajasthan Stores. Rajasthan Stores has sent invoice number 160 after adding 5% GST and labor rupees 400. So again, this is the transaction of purchase. The goods have been purchased from Rajasthan Stores and the invoice number 160 has been received after adding 5% GST and labor of rupees 400.